What's up, e-bike fans? In this video, we're going to be covering the WTVA ORION 20-inch fat tire folding bike. This is a 750 watt, just beast of a bike.
The ORION bike was actually pretty easy to go ahead and unbox and put together. I don't know if I would recommend doing it the way I did it, but for me, what I normally do is I take out the tire first, I take out the battery and the charger. I start charging the bike while I'm doing this. I cut the front of the box to go ahead and get the bike out, and this is one way for me to go ahead and not have to lift the bike out of a box itself. The ORION does come with the neck not installed, and that's what keeps the box a little smaller, and it also helps prevent damage in shipping. So you have to attach it with the fork, and then as you can see here, I actually added some flat out tire sealant. I do this with all my bikes now because fat tires sometimes actually are more susceptible to flat tires because they're a little softer. Now, I recommend having a second person, or if you have a bike stand, you can do what I'm doing here and using the bike stand to keep the bike elevated so that you can get the front tire put on there. Once that's attached, then I tightened it down and I undid the handlebars, adjusted it, make sure that it was all set up. And here, from this point on, I did the same thing to the back tire. I actually took out the air and I put flat out tire sealant in this as well. Now this took an extra probably 20-30 minutes to go to get the tire sealant in. Normally it takes about an hour and a half for me to do a bike like this, and this was no different. This is kind of what you can expect on a typical bike like this. This bike also needed the fender and headlight attached after, and after a quick tightening of all the bolts and nuts all around the bike and making sure everything was straight, the bike was ready to go.
Okay, let's start with the back of the bike. We have an integrated tail light that also works as a brake light, and this light will go on when the headlight is turned on. Attached to the brake light, we have the rack, which is a really nice feature to have when the rack is included on a bike, because with the tail light there already, if you were to add a rack on some others, that usually does end up blocking the light and you have to move it around. So here, the rack is already on there, you have your tail light in the back, and the fenders are also included on this bike. A little lower, we have the Chaoyang 20x4 inch fat tires that absorb a ton of bumps, making the ride a lot smoother and softer, as well as providing a lot of traction. Also, check out these cool mag wheels. Unlike spokes that need occasional tightening and truing, these are like completely maintenance free. You can just go ahead and clean them every once in a while and you have that really cool mag wheel look. Mag wheels do add a little more weight to the bike, but with a 750 watt nominal rated motor that can put out over 1,000 watts of peak power, the little extra weight is not really noticeable and it's easily managed by the motor. The brakes that we have here are mechanical disc brakes with 160mm rotors. Very decent braking. It's not a brand that I recognize, but there's nothing wrong with these brakes. They actually work really well. Next, we have a 7-speed Shimano tourney derailleur that works really well for this type of bike. I really like the way that it shifted. It has a 48-volt battery with a 13 amp hour capacity that gives us 624 total watt hours, which should provide most riders between 25 to 35 miles depending on your weight and how much throttle you use versus the type of terrain and how much pedaling you help the bike along. I contacted WTVA to find out how many amps the controller was because I couldn't find it on the website, and I found out that it puts out about 25 amps. So you take that amp rating along with the 48-volt battery, in theory we could get up to almost 1,200 total watts of peak power. The ORION comes with a collapsible folding pedals. I absolutely love the extra inches you save when you fold them in. I have a very tight garage, and these keep my cars from getting scratched when I pass by them, and it also makes it easier to store the bike either in the trunk of my car or in the garage when it's parked. We also have a 42-tooth crank in the front, and I believe the highest gear in the back is probably a 14-tooth based on how fast I have to pedal at higher speeds. The gear ratio is really well designed for this type of bike and the power that you get in addition to the motor that's helping you. At the top of the battery, we have a key that is needed to turn on the battery and has a great security feature. If you need to leave the battery on the bike when you park it, you can take the key out and it will lock the battery into place with the locking pin. You can also remove the battery if you have a key, which you can stick in, push, and turn to retract the locking pin. When you rotate the key to power the bike, the key will lock into place and does not come out. Here is the port for the charger to plug into the battery. The ORION comes with a 2 amp charger that should take between 5 to 6 hours to recharge from its lowest levels. There is also a battery level indicator at the top of the battery so you can see how much charge is in the battery without needing to be plugged in to look at the display screen. One of the most comfortable things about the ORION is the seat. It comes with a really nice wide saddle, and after riding a couple of hours, I didn't feel any discomfort whatsoever. This is one seat that I would say does not need changing, unlike 90% of other bikes that I typically review. Here in the front, we have a really good front suspension. This suspension really does a fantastic job in softening the ride. It also comes with a preload adjustment and lockout features, but I seriously don't think you really want to lock out the forks with how smooth this makes the ride. With the key on the battery turned on, we can turn on the display here by holding the middle button with the M for a few seconds. It's a basic LCD monochrome display that shows your mileage, trip distance, current battery voltage, and current reading showing how many amps the controller is pushing to power the motor, and it also has a trip timer. By pushing the plus and minus buttons, this will control the amount of pedal assist you get. As you push the plus button, you can get up to 5 levels of pedal assist, and it shows you the levels with the bars here at the bottom of the screen. You can hold the plus button for a few seconds, and that will turn on your headlight and your rear light. The Orion comes with a half-twist throttle that is really responsive, and you do get power on demand no matter what level of pedal assist that you have on. Even at 0 pedal assist, the throttle will still give you full power. The grips are comfortable, and I personally really like the feel. There's nothing wrong with these that I personally have any issues with. And the reach of this e-bike from the handlebars to the seat is actually really close. It's also adjustable. It has a quick release that makes it really easy to adjust from one rider to another, and this is perfect for shorter riders that have shorter reaches. The front cables on the front of the bike were really nicely wrapped, just like you see it, and this is how it arrived. Great cable management. During the assembly, the whole front rim, along with the front headlight and front fender and fork, needed to go ahead and be put together. WTVA does have instructional videos on how to assemble the bike, and the main thing I would recommend is to have someone help you or to use a bike stand if you have one. On the front of the bike attached to the fork, we have the same cool looking mag wheels as we did in the back, and with the same 160mm rotor for the mechanical disc brakes. There is a stand under the bike to rest the frame on when the bike is folded, and next to that is a double-sided chain guard to keep the chain from falling off in rough terrain. This bike has been able to solidly hit 25 miles per hour on throttle alone, with an occasional top speed of 28 miles per hour. You can find the WTVA Orion e-bike by going to ebikeproducts.com/Orion, which is an affiliate link and does pay a small commission to support this channel. You can also find this link in the description below. For my opinion on this bike, I think the $13.99 price is a really good deal for a bike like this, with a 750 watt motor, 25 amp controller, a 48 volt and 13 amp hour battery, all that combined with the way that this bike rides and how it feels, a shorter reach that's adjustable for taller and shorter people. This bike all around has really got it made. The mag wheels are something a little more unique, which I really like, with less maintenance to have to worry about on the spokes, all that encompassing. This is one bike I would not hesitate to recommend for anybody looking for a folding bike and to give it a shot. I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos like this. To be notified, click the bell on the right hand side as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.